in some version of a past life. I feel like I was like a princess or a queen. I was captured and killed.
Wow.
I think I was actually kept in like a tower. I think I'm not Rapunzel, bitches.
I was about to say your hair is long and blonde.
What would you say you are?
Oh, I was definitely from the 1920s.
Really?
Yeah.
Such
And I think I was
certainty.
a dude. And I think I was a dude too.
A dude from the 1920s.
Yes. Maybe
Wow.
even later. Maybe like 1800s.
Do you think that you've been here before?
I think I've been here over 9 times. I'm in my 9th life.
Oh, so it should be your last.
Yeah. Thank God. I'm so ready.
If you think you're an old soul, or if you think you're a new soul, if you think you're a crazy teenage soul, you should definitely comment below and maybe even tell us what decade you think you're from. Put your hand in the teapot.
Oh, put your hand in the teapot.
Put your hand in the teapot.
Got it.
What are we talking about today?
Hollywood beauty standard.
Hollywood beauty standards.
Like, I'm so over it. Like, sometimes it just comes down to, like, we hear people talk about the toxic nature of Hollywood beauty standards, and it still never changes.
I don't think it ever will change.
Like, it's so irritating. Like, figure it out already.
I don't think it ever will change because people will never change. Meaning people are always going to be attracted to the pretty thing. People will always have opinions about what looks good on somebody, what doesn't. And it falls into these specific molds that just don't shift.
And then I want to contradict myself at the same exact time.
Because of that fashion show you watched?
No, actually, but yes, but even looking at the different types of celebrities that are now coming into popularity, things are changing. Like, the influencer girl is not as made up as she used to be. The Marilyn Monroe of it all happens here and there, but then there's also something that's very appealing to society for that authentic self version. And then you have so many celebrities now that don't fit the 6 or 8 size dress, and they're a little bit larger, but you're accepting it. So I guess it is changing, but at the same time, sex symbolism isn't changing. Like, those people aren't sex symbols. They're now sucked into Hollywood beauty standards, but the sex symbol is still the same. Skinny, boo-boops, boo-boops.
Or it's like every single one of those categories is kind of like a clique in and of itself.
True.
It's like, if you look at it like high school, right? It's like every different Hollywood beauty standard. So you have the skinny girl who looks this way. You have the grungy kind of influencer who has this je ne sais quoi. Then you have like the big girls. Then you have the guys that all look kind of like the Timothée Chalamet. So it's like every single one of those categories is a clique. And if you don't fit perfectly into one of those, then you are
other.
And other can sometimes feel really not great.
So what I hear you saying is that Hollywood is just high school all over again.
Well, for sure.
Done. Like, Margot Robbie is the cheerleader.
Totally.
The fantastic actress from The Bear.
Io.
Sorry. Love you. She's like theater, fun,
Totally.
beautiful, nerd at the same time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then you have like Idris Elba, the jock, and then you have Timothée Chalamet, like the science person. Like, he looks like he definitely knows how to deal with beakers.
People like melt in his presence. He has like that sexy
I
thing.
melt in front of Bill Nye the Science Guy. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Alton Brown?
I will melt in front of Alton Brown.
Well, I know you will. But what Hollywood has done is they've taken those types and put money and power behind it, and therefore made it feel super desirable. So it's like, you look at somebody, let's say like an Amy Schumer, who's not conventionally attractive, but because she has, and she's even like played on that, right? She's like, I'm this girl, I'm that, I'm not that. She's owned it in such a way that therefore it gives like permission to other people who might feel connected to her, but at the same time, she's like the king of that hill.
And then you just have classic beauties in general, your Zoe Saldana's, you know what I mean? Like, those type of people too. You just walk on no matter what clique they're in, and you're like, you're gorgeous. You're gorgeous. You know what I mean?
Beauty standards though, do you feel like they've like messed with you at all?
I mean, I wouldn't be a human if I say that they didn't, but it's how I continue to live my life that dictates like how much it messes with me. I think it hurt me a lot more when I was younger, and that's when I learned how to grow thick skin. So now that I'm older, I don't really care what you say in the comments about my appearance. I'm gonna be okay. Unlike when I was 16 and I was overweight and people thought I was having Omarion's baby because I had a big stomach. Like, that's something that I'm like, wow. I never was like, oh my God, they hate me. I was just like, you guys are so stupid.
But you're turning it back to other people and their perception of you. What's your own perception been of yourself within beauty standards? Have you ever...
That I'm bomb?
So so it's only...
Like, yeah, I've been fat in my life, and there's no doubt about it. And like, oh, I have to lose weight because I need a roll. But when I look in the mirror, like, I'm bomb.
You've always liked what you've seen.
Have you seen me? I'm bomb.
I mean, and on that note, I think we should toast to you and your bombness. So this year marks 10 years since John Travolta, gotta love him, stood up on the stage at the Oscars and introduced Idina Menzel as Adele Dazeem. Do you remember that?
I have no idea what you're talking about and why I should care.
Oh my God, it was hilarious. You haven't seen this? John Travolta walked up on the stage to introduce Idina Menzel at the Oscars.
Yes.
And he said, the wickedly
talented one and only Adele Dazeem.
Oh, that sucks.
Massive. Everyone was talking, and this month marks 10 years since it happened.
So I wonder what spoofs are going to happen on TikTok.
Probably none. I just think that it's worth shouting out again since 10 years have passed since that moment.
Has anyone done any Freudian slips like that since?
That's not even a fucking Freudian slip. That a Freudian slip is like, hey mom, oops, sorry, I mean honey. Like, that's a Freudian slip because I don't know, he couldn't see the teleprompter. Like,
well, babes, I really can't fault him because I've definitely had things where I mess up. Like, I messed up country and continent so many times.
Still not as bad.
Okay, cool. Thanks for that. You heard that?
Literally,
not as bad.
Idina Menzel.
Adele Dazeem.
And the audience
great name.
was like, what?
I wonder if he's going to name his child that. He should just name a dog.
And then can you imagine what you would feel as Idina Menzel? Like, my last name being Madej, whole life. And I'm always like, okay, whatever. But it's still kind of like in the neighborhood. You can understand how somebody would look at it and read. Idina Menzel then to walk out or then to start like performing.
What did she do?
She was performing. So she probably just performed.
Oh my God, I would have walked up on stage and been like, thank you, John Travolta. Like, I would have just like,
no, it wouldn't even,
Tom Travolta.
You would even have to make it even more intense. Adina, Adele.
Dom.
Yeah, Dom. Travolta.
Revolta. I'm still doing Revolta because you're revolting right now.
I was worried.
For his safety?
For his sanity.
Babes, it's just that. It's like
I was like, he had a mini stroke.
I don't think so. I honestly.
He seems unwell.
A lot of the times when people do those things, they don't even know who they're interviewing. They don't even know who like they're presenting, and sometimes the names get messed up.
Maybe. I love Travolta. He was my first crush.
Interesting.
Danny Zuko. Welcome Back, Kotter.
Oh, Welcome Back, Kotter was so good. His hair was beautiful.
Oh my God, Saturday Night Fever.
Not really that one. I used to watch Welcome Back, Kotter all the time. And one of the guys in there who played Michael Jackson's dad in one of the shows, like, I know him. It's really cool.
You guys, comment down below if you've ever messed up a name before, terribly.
Or if you confused country and continent in a sentence because they're both start with a C and have O's in them.
Just comment down below if you've made any human error ever.
Ever.
And also comment down below if you think that there is somebody specific or some event that we have to toast to.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.